All right, so let's speak now to spokesperson for the South African Union of Students, Asive Dlanjwa. Asive, good morning to you. Thank you so much for giving us your time. I mean, give us your initial response there to the news coming in this morning that the Higher Education Minister, Bladen Zimande, has been interdicted from putting the university under administration.
Good morning, and also good morning to your viewers and your listeners. We have noted the court judgment interdicting the minister from placing the University of South Africa under administration. We are obviously most probably yet to deliberate on what that means moving forward. But I think as far as our position stands and on the need to turn around the University of South Africa and stabilize it again, that is a sacrosanct commitment that we have, which still remains unwavering.
Okay, so let's talk about, firstly, the challenges that Unisa actually is facing and what's necessary for us to stabilize this university that has, thousands, over close to 100,000 learners and students, not just in South Africa, but certainly in various parts of the world as well. So an important and large institution.
Absolutely. The reality is that the University of South Africa, even testament to the battles that we are seeing now that are even being drawn out at court, is that it remains highly unstable, especially as its governance is concerned. The operations and the governance of Unisa still remain compromised. That is a reality. We do not doubt the commitment, for instance, of perhaps the Vice Chancellor to turn that situation around. But we appreciate that some of these problems, they predate the arrival of the Vice Chancellor there. And it is something over and above, beyond the commitment of the Vice Chancellor, needs to be done to ensure that we turn the situation around at Unisa. Unisa is highly unstable. Its governance is collapsing. There is a breaking down of its governance systems from council, etc. So these are realities that at Unisa there has been a drawn out a battle between the workers and the leadership of the institution. These are all things that need to be dealt with. So over and above, and this is not a vote of no confidence on any particular person, but the reality is that unless something over and above what is being done now is done, that institution, its fate will be at best gloomy in the future. So that is a reality. The university is unstable.
But so I'm essentially, and I think that we certainly have been watching the various challenges that the university has had. So, to say it's unstable is, I suppose, something that one could argue is visible. Where you've had, for instance, the complaints that have been made by students that assignments and exams simply aren't being marked, glitches as well in some of the administrative processes of Unisa. But I want to hear the recommendation of your organization. I mean, is it a leadership matter? I mean, what then should be done? Is it a matter of then looking at the various leadership, whether it be the Vice Chancellor or administrative heads within the organization? I mean, what's a targeted action that needs to take place?
One of the few things that would needed to happen at Unisa is that Unisa should be placed under administration, because all the role players that are present now, who some of them claim to turn the situation around, some of them who are playing ball with hundreds and thousands of students' lives and careers, although some of them have committed to turning the situation around, the reality is that the situation has not turned around at Unisa. So one of the recommendations would have been putting the university under administration. Why? Because our initial proposal was that a level of coherence was needed to be achieved between the executive and the council, which was not happening. So the only thing it would appear right now is that there needs to be external assistance to assist that university to turn around. Those are our recommendations. Okay. Because for the longest time, we have been bemoaning the minister's godfather approach in the sector, where he sits back and let institutions collapse. And so we were at last glad that the minister is taking steps direct intervention to ensure that that university is safe. And other institutions, by the way, it's not the only university where we have recommended that it be placed under administration.
Yeah, just before I let you go, I think we've heard all of your recommendations. I think if you will, Asive, paint a picture of what you're hearing from the students at Unisa. I mean, some of the complaints that they have shared, even with the South African Union of Students, the challenges that they're facing. What are those?
There has been administrative issues at Unisa, which you know about, I know about, you see on social media, pertains to students' ability to participate in the academics at Unisa, whether be it assignments, whether be it module codes. So there's been many administrative issues. I would not be able to count all of them here. And those speak to, but yet the need for us to do something. And that speaks to the ICT department, which also has been flagged at Unisa to have been failing, which was one of the reasons why it needed to be placed under administration. So there are many issues. You know them, I know them, we've all seen them on social media. And the reality is that unless we deal with those, that institution is likely to be on its knees in the next 5 to 10 years.
What are the implications of that that bleak sort of throwing of the bones that you put forward, that the organization or institution could be on its knees in the next 5 to 10 years? I mean, it's an important institution, correct?
It would be a grave injustice to hundreds and thousands of Africans, because many people have not been, because the brick and mortar institutions where students can go learn contact learning. The reality, let me give you an example. Last year we matriculated just under 1 million students.
Yes.
And of them, I think about 755,000 qualified to go to institutions of higher learning. And we only had space for 200,000. So you begin to understand that unless we protect Unisa, the majority of school leaving people will not be able to attain a higher education outside Unisa. So Unisa has been an absolute critical intervention towards building the capacity of the state and towards improving literacy and towards our developmental agenda as a country.
Yeah.
So it is absolutely crucial. We have to protect it. It is in fact a national issue. It's a national site. It's a strategic national site, Unisa, to all of us. So we have to protect it. It is unfortunate that there are people that are playing ball using the lives and the futures of millions of South Africans by doing what they are doing at the University of South Africa.